Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching episode 9 of Star Wars Visions called Akakiri, and this is the final episode of Star Wars Visions. Are we ever going to get another season? I don't know. I kind of hope so, because a lot of these episodes have been like, you know, as I've said in the last review, a lot of these have felt like the pilot episodes to mini-series that may not ever come. So that's been at least somewhat, I don't know if frustrating is the right word, but at the very least it's definitely been something that's been bothering me, is that, like, you know, almost like the What If Marvel series, is that like it feels like there's a lot of setup and then no conclusion. So I'm just kind of waiting, like, is this ever going to get resolved? I don't know. You know, they haven't announced a season 2 of this. I think one of the Japanese studios even said that, you know, there might be a season 2 where, you know, like, they're open to it, but there's nothing like confirmed, so it's kind of just up to how well this is received, which I think overall it's been received very well. But anyways, so this last episode, Akakiri, this one was neat. You know, it wasn't anything like, it didn't like blow my mind, anything special here, but you know, it was basically this Jedi shows up to help this princess because, you know, 5 years ago he had helped this royal family on this planet. So he shows up again because apparently the king has been killed by his own sister, who turned out to be a Sith, which is an interesting idea. I kind of wish we had seen that whole drama being played out, but basically the sister, or the Sith, has now taken over the kingdom, and so, you know, he's just showing up as a one-man army, you know, like pretty much on his own, to try and handle this situation. Now, they end up getting to the palace eventually, you know, and it's a little bit of a road trip episode. They spent most of it is just them on their journey to the palace. But once they get there, you know, of course, he's confronted with a bunch of soldiers, and he keeps on having this reoccurring dream where he keeps on seeing this masked figure die over and over again. And they even have a flashback of like his master saying like, oh, you probably shouldn't go to this because, you know, all this anxiety and whatever's happening, like, you might be tempted to the dark side because we don't know what's going on with you. But they get to the palace, and he cuts down a bunch of guards, and then at one point he's almost down, and he like kind of uses the dark side. We see his eyes go like you know, that yellowish red color, and in a fury of rage, he kind of cuts down a whole bunch of guards all at once, except one of them. You can, you know, judging by the voice, he could figure out that it was actually the princess who he was with the whole time. She had been captured and a mask had been put on her face, so he actually ended up cutting her down. You know, so he was the one that ended up killing the princess. And so the Sith lady's sitting there then like, oh man, if you join me, I can save her, right? Like, we can help her, but you have to agree to be my apprentice. And so we get a real Anakin moment here, right? Where he's like, I'll do whatever you want, you know, like, just help me save her, you know, that kind of thing. Except she actually does. The Sith lady actually is like, all right, here, we'll take our hands, we'll put it on her body, and she gets brought back to life. So, you know, unlike Palpatine, she actually does save this girl's life. But of course, you know, the princess wakes up saying like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like, I did what I had to do. And then master and apprentice Sith now leave. And so it's really kind of a dark ending, you know. I mean, they left, so I don't know if that means that, like, you know, like the Sith lady just agreed to like, whatever, I'll just forfeit this kingdom, I don't need it anymore, now I have an apprentice to train. But yeah, that's just how it is. Now the princess is in the palace all alone, and the two Sith now leave. And I don't know where you go from here. You know, it's just, maybe it's just a one-off kind of dark tale about you know, being so easily seduced to the dark side, being like, you know, a Jedi would accept, kind of like what Yoda tries to tell Anakin to do. It's like, just embrace death. It's a natural part of life. Accept that sometimes bad things happen. But just like Anakin, he couldn't accept it, and so he made a deal with evil, and now there you go. So now the Sith won ultimately. That's in. I don't know if that's like what this Sith lady ultimately wanted, was just to turn this Jedi to the dark side, but she basically won that whole episode. So yeah, I thought this was interesting. It was made more interesting in the fact that it had a darker ending, which I definitely did not see coming, because for most of it I thought it was just gonna be like the standard Jedi shows up, saves the day, episode ends, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, and we've seen a handful of those in this series already, but yeah, the fact that this one had a little bit of a twist to it at the end kind of made it a much more interesting episode. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought, and yeah, that's the end of Star Wars Visions. That's it. Hopefully we do get a season 2. There are at least, I think, 3, maybe 4 of these episodes that I do want a continuation of, and then the rest we could just make new stuff. And my major complaints, my only real critique of this, and maybe this is just a thing with these types of shows where everything's like an individual story, is that so much of it felt just like a bunch of pilot episodes to stories that might not ever continue. So I much rather would have had episodes like The Elder, where it felt like it ended, like it was, they introduced this small little story and then it ended, and there's no real questions after that. You don't have kind of like lingering plot threads that never get resolved, which is my criticism for some of the other episodes. Like the bunny girl, I forget the name, but that one, I think it was Ocho, something in Ocho. Anyways, that one I really enjoyed, but then it doesn't really get resolved. In the Ninth Jedi, a lot of people are praising that episode, but again, it feels like I'm left without a conclusion. So I think I very much would prefer a bunch of one-off episodes that feel like they have an ending to them, rather than these kind of open-ended things. But yeah, overall, a lot of really good ideas throughout this series. A lot of interesting concepts. Some of them are pretty wacky and way out there. Others I think would actually fit really well within the canon and the actual established universe. Some of these episodes, at least 1 or 2 of them, you could almost directly just put it in the canon. Some of these felt like they were written to be like, no, this could literally just be a canon story, and there's nothing it's not bumping up against anything. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, overall, this was a cool experiment. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it was for the better or for the worse that it all dropped at once. I feel like, I don't know, the way that they laid it out, and just judging by the way people's reactions, I feel like if this had been a weekly release, it would have gone from oh, this show's amazing, to oh, this show sucks, to oh, this show's amazing. It would have kept on going between these two extremes of being the greatest thing ever and then the worst thing ever, and it would have been this huge played out thing. So maybe it was for the best that they just dropped it all at once, because they're so short, and maybe the idea of waiting an entire week for a 15-minute thing just would not have worked out. So I don't know, maybe it did end up being the smarter decision. I'm not sure, but in any case, yeah, Star Wars Visions. Hopefully there's a season 2. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Let me know what you guys thought about the show overall, any improvements you would make, or things you just didn't like in general. I have seen at least a couple people say like, oh, only these 2 episodes were good and everything else was horrible and it sucked, which I think is a little extreme, right? I mean, definitely some of the episodes were not like geared towards an adult audience and more geared towards a children audience, which, you know, this is on Disney Plus. Yeah, so of course some of this is gonna be geared more towards children. Like, yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's Star Wars, you know. But I don't know. I think it's kind of extreme to outright just like blanket statement saying like these 2 are good, everything else is trash. You can throw it away. It's like, oh, hold on. Even the ones that you don't like as much have some interesting qualities to them that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't just throw stuff away, you know? I don't know. But in any case, let me know what you guys thought, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.